The storm has finally passed and the sea has calmed down. We continue our patrol in the Skagerrak between Denmark and Norway. The calm weather should give the crew an opportunity to relax and to recuperate after braving the storms for so many days. Our torpedo officer, Oberfenrich Goda, is inconsolable after our engagement with the Polish merchant. He does not understand why 3 of our torpedoes obviously failed. He swears to me that he has serviced the torpedoes correctly, strictly by the guidelines in the service manuals. Right now he is busy taking apart our last torpedo, making sure that it will work when we have to fire it. We might get the chance to do that sooner than we thought. Smoke is spotted on the horizon. We are closing in. Our powerful USO binoculars allow us to observe the target from a great range. We can determine that this is actually one of our ships. After closing the distance further, we are able to observe that this is a minesweeper. It is really good to know that we are not alone out here, and that our navy is securing these waters. On the other hand, this makes it less likely for us to find any enemies to engage before they are intercepted by our surface ships. The calm weather didn't last very long. Another storm is coming up, and we seem to be in its path. I ordered the boat to dive. There is no benefit in us staying up there. Visibility is horrendous, and we are just being thrown around by the waves. I am genuinely fed up with this terrible weather that is impacting our operations so negatively. Maybe I should have joined the Luftwaffe after all, instead of the Navy. Then, during such weather, I would be sitting in a warm barracks, drinking cognac, or whatever they do. But it can't be helped. The weather is what it is, we can't change it. We just have to perform our duty and soldier on. We have a hydrophone contact. This is where it gets interesting. There is a ship out there. Let's check the weather. Periscope depth.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin!
Auf Seerotiefe gehen.
Both engines. Slow speed ahead.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin!
Beide Maschinen machen langsame Fahrt.
A look through the periscope confirms that the weather is still terrible. No, it might even have worsened since we dived the boat. These are not good conditions to hunt a ship. We will have to find it in this dark night. The air filled with flying water, rain pouring down on us, visibility reduced to almost zero. We have to give it our best. Surface the boat. We are going to hunt.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin!
The weather is just as bad as it appeared from the periscope. The visibility is almost nothing due to the darkness that surrounds us and due to the water spray that is everywhere in the air. Our target could sail right past us, and we might not notice it. And again our watch crew has to brave the terribly cold weather, holding on to the railing and to the contents of their stomach while the boat is being thrown around by the waves. quite frankly, I'm amazed that our boat, so far, has not sprung any leaks. This is an amazing feat and testament to the build quality of our boats. I suspect that after this patrol the boat will have to come into the dry dock to be checked and repaired. Now that at least should grant us a longer shore leave than we received after our last patrol. Dive the boat.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Tiefenruder auf normal tauchen.
We have to dive the boat from time to time to make sure that we are still on an intercept course with our target. Each time the conning tower hatch is opened to let the watch crew in or out of the boat, a big chunk of water comes crashing down into the command room. The high waves have at least one advantage. Our dive time is incredible. The waves just slam the boat beneath the surface, and we are able to get down to 20 meters in mere seconds. Maintain depth.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Derzeitige Tiefe 1,8 Meter. Derzeitige Tiefe 1,9 Meter. Derzeitige Tiefe 2,0.
It helps our hydrophone operator if we slow down the engines. Small speed ahead.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
Beide Maschinen kleine Fahrt voraus.
Kontakt, Frachter, kommt näher. Auf 285, große Entfernung.
Good work. I'll come over and have a listen. There it is. We can hear it even better than last time, which means that it is closer now. We continue to do this. Surface the boat, race through the storm towards the target. Dive the boat, listen again, surface again, continue the hunt. All of a sudden, out of the darkness, like an apparition from a ghost story, our target appears mere 200 meters in front of us. We can confirm that it is a freighter, but to our great disappointment, it is flying a Dutch flag. Rather hard to port. I will not risk any of my men trying to get them over to that ship to inspect it.
Schiff gesichtet. Lage 1,9. Geringe Entfernung.
I decide that we will let this freighter go. Like a ghost it came out of the dark. And just like that it vanishes. We are like ghosts ourselves, sailing our grey boat into the dark, the pale-faced crew standing watch. It is now the 2nd of October. Thankfully the storm has passed. The last days have been relatively uneventful. We have busied ourselves with intercepting and controlling Danish and Norwegian ships in the Skagerrak. We had to let them go after checking them, because they were carrying no contraband. It is becoming a routine task, and the crew are not even excited anymore when a new ship is sighted. But this night is different. We have spotted multiple patrol boats and minesweepers outbound through the Skagerrak. It seems that with the fall of Poland pretty much imminent, the Kriegsmarine High Command is shifting resources from the Baltic to the North Sea, where they will be needed against the British. The Wehrmacht has done it. I can't believe that Poland is defeated after just a month of fighting. This is incredible news. Maybe England and France will be persuaded to sign a peace treaty now that this affair is out of the world. Maybe we won't have to fight them after all. We will see. Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Silent Hunter 3 campaign. We just spotted a ship on the horizon, So the first thing that I did is to turn my submarine towards it, and we are going to investigate. I don't know yet what it is, I just see a small pillar of smoke, I see a mast, and that's about it. We are currently in the Skagerrak here, where we were patrolling back and forth. So far this journey has been pretty uneventful since the last episode. There is some neutral traffic that is passing through here, and the ship in front of us could be another one. If he is neutral... Oh,
Derzeitige Tiefe 1-0.
these waves, I'm telling you. Yeah, we are once again in a storm. That could be another neutral ship. If that's the case, then we'll just hail him, stop him, inspect him, just like the other ones. Oh my god. Can you imagine doing this stuff in real life? Getting drenched all the time. That's not fun. Okay, since I pointed my bow at the ship over there, and it is now to the left of my bow, I know that it is going from right to left. So in order to intercept it, I will set my course in that direction over there.
Neuer Kurs 344.
Turn the boat. I don't know if it makes any sense to stay here in the Skagerrak, to be honest. If that is another neutral ship, I might just consider to return to Kiel and to enter patrol right here. Because we have been here for a long time now, and since the Polish resistance has basically collapsed completely, I don't expect much enemy traffic to be here, to be honest. Sure, there could be some more Polish stragglers coming through, but at this point in the war I feel that it is becoming more and more unlikely. What else could there be? There could be British ships trying to get into Norwegian or Swedish harbors, so that's a possibility. But other than that, this is... yeah, I don't know if this is gonna be successful at all. For now, let's keep closing in with this ship. I'll cut the video here and I'll get you back in on the action once we are a bit closer and we can actually identify what we are looking at. See you soon! Okay, we are a bit closer now, and not only are we a bit closer, we are almost in front of the enemy ship. Now, why is that important? If I am directly in front of the ship, then I will know precisely its course, because it will be coming right at me. And I will be able to translate the bearing that I'm looking at to the ship's course by using the Lagerwinkelscheibe or the Angriffsscheibe. How will I know when I'm in front of it? Basically, I take a look at the ship, and if I see that the masts are completely overlapping, that means that I'm there. But I can tell you, in this weather it's not easy. It is not easy at all. But I think everything is overlapping now. I'm looking directly at his bow. So let me get the bearing here. Bearing 99. Come on, let me take another look here. But I think 99 is pretty much on the money. Although, looking at it now, it seems as if it's now really overlapping. So let me get another bearing. 100. Yeah, we'll use 100. And now that we're in front of him, I will dive the boat.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Tiefenruder auf normal tauchen.
I don't want to get spotted by him. My god, these waves. So, if you have watched the previous episode, you know that we have only one torpedo on board, and that's it. And hitting anything with that thing in this weather, well, it won't be easy. But we'll see.
Jawohl, Herr
Bring me
Kaloin.
to periscope depth.
Seerotiefe gehen.
Derzeitige Tiefe 1-0.
We're underwater now. We had him at a bearing of 100 degrees for our course finding purposes. Let me bring you in here on this station. We are preparing everything for a possible attack. Let me reinforce the engine crew just in case. Also, I want somebody on the sonar. That's good. Now, weapons officer. Okay, let me explain this process. So, we were looking on a bearing of 100, which is over here. And we know that at that bearing... come on, this thing is sometimes fiddly. That at that bearing he was coming directly towards us. So I will set the inner ring like this, with an AOB marking of 0. That means... yeah, that means that he was sailing on a course of 253? Yeah, 253, more or less. Yeah, let's say 252, for simplicity's sake. Great. That's great. So his course is 252. Let's remember that number. And let's remember that in order to... why is this not working right now? Oh, come on. I want to turn the outer ring. It's not letting me do it right now, for whatever reason. I can turn this here. Well, if we have to do it like this, then that's fine too. Let's see, I want to come right to 341 to get an AOB of 90 degrees on him, is that right? I think it is. No, it isn't, actually. I have to come to a course of 162. Okay. However, for now, what I want to do is to take a look at this guy. We still need more variables if we want to hit him. If that is even an enemy at this point. I will have to let the ship pass by, and if we identify him as an enemy, then of course we will shoot. If he's not an enemy, if he's a neutral, then we will have to surface and go and inspect him. But we already have his course. So now, all that we need is his speed. Let's slow down the boat. And we'll just wait a little bit. Let's give ourselves 1 minute. And now we'll take another look. Where is he? There he is. And down periscope again. I don't want this thing to be spotted. By the way, we did say that he's sailing on a course of 252. Let me come towards him by sailing on a course of 72, basically. Let's see, 72 is right about here.
Neuer Kurs 7-1.
Yeah, we're turning the boat. I'll use a bit of time compression to speed things up here, because turning the boat is slow. But there we are. We are not at 72 yet, but that's fine. We don't need it to be exact. Now he should be more or less here in front of us. There he is. Still can't tell the nationality of that ship. I can tell that it's a cargo ship. But other than that, no, can't tell anything yet. We'll have to keep closing the distance. Yes, we'll have to keep closing the distance. Down periscope. Always remember, never leave your periscope up for too long. You don't want it to be spotted. And also I will dive the boat a bit deeper. In these waves we risk that our conning tower is exposed by the waves if we are at the depth of 10.5 meters. So diving 1 meter deeper is a good idea. You can see it here, what I mean. Our periscope is just barely raised above the rim of the tower, and we are still getting daylight from time to time. Okay, let's take another look at that guy. There he is. It's definitely a cargo ship. Still can't tell the nationality. Still too far away to take a speed reading. Okay, in that case, lower the periscope again and we'll keep closing in. Dive the boat just a little bit deeper. Really don't want my conning tower exposed here. And again, a bit of time has passed. Raise the periscope, observe the target. Where is he? There he is. Of course, if you dive the boat a bit deeper, it becomes harder to observe anything with the periscope, because it will be blocked by the waves more frequently. Still can't tell what he is. Of course a cargo ship, but I can't tell which flag he's flying. Could be Danish. It has some red in it. Could be a Dane. Or a Norwegian. Not sure. Let's continue closing. Let's give it another minute. Or two. Where's the periscope again? Is he British? I mean, at this location, I don't know. There is a red flag. I think a Dane is more likely than a British ship. If that's a Dane, then we will surface and inspect him. Is he armed? I can't tell. Let's lower the periscope and give it another minute. Let's give it 2 minutes, why not? There we go. Up periscope. Whatever he is, he seems to be going quite slow. Even though we are sailing at the speed of 4 knots, we are not closing the distance very fast. Am I seeing this right? That's a red flag with a bit of white above it, which would indicate a Polish ship. That could be a Polish ship. Okay. If he's Polish, then he's fair game. I'll take a speed reading at a bearing of 30. Hydrophone operator, do you have this guy? No, he is within the dead zone of my hydrophone apparently, still. Or we are too shallow to have an effective hydrophone. The thing with the hydrophone on this submarine, let me show you. Sonar radio. So, okay, it doesn't explain it here. But we have the Gruppenhorchgerät hydrophone. That basically is a set of hydrophones alongside the hull of the boat. The good thing about this is that you have a hydrophone. The bad thing is you can't really hear anything that is directly in front of your boat. Like, I think 25 degrees left and right in front of the boat are basically a dead zone. This gets improved later on if you have a boat with the Kristalldreh-Basisgerät installed up here on the deck. So a hydrophone that can be rotated. But this boat doesn't have that, so we have quite a significant dead zone in front of us. Where it will be very hard for our hydrophone operator to pick up anything. Okay, back to the periscope. So I will have to observe him carefully. Oh, okay, now he's closing in distance a bit faster than I would like. Okay, we'll take a speed reading at 35 degrees then. This is getting interesting. Let's slow down our boat.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Down periscope. Let's keep it just above the waterline until we see that he's in a position where we can take a speed reading. It's almost there. Let's raise it up. Oh, come on. I have to see you. Start the clock. I think I'm a little bit late. But that's alright. We'll just add a bit on the back of him. Look at that, it's really a Polish ship. Indeed it is. And there we go. Okay, that was 21 seconds. The length of that ship. We need that to determine the speed. I think, just by looking at this thing, that he has a length of about... Oh man, it's hard to tell. Just by looking at the dimensions of that ship. Please, periscope, give me a good view on him. Just by looking at the dimensions, I give him above 100 meters, but below 150 meters. So that indicates a speed of about 10 knots. But since we were coming towards him, we have to do something. We were looking at him at a bearing of, what was it, 35 degrees. And we were going at a speed of 3 knots. So we actually have to subtract 2.1 knots from that speed. So he would be going at about 8 knots. That sounds plausible. We can take another speed reading. Over here, just to be sure. Let's reset the clock. Come on, come on, come on. Damn waves. Come on. There we go. A second too late, but that's fine. We'll just add it at the back. Taking another good look at this guy. It is indeed a Polish ship. There we go. Once again, this indicates that he's going... Well, he could be going a bit faster than that actually, depending on his length. Hard to tell. Maybe 120 meters. That would indicate a speed of about 12.5 minus the... Let's see, how much do we have to subtract now? 45 degrees. We were going at a speed of 3 knots, so we have to subtract 3 knots. So I'd say he's going at a speed of 10 knots. 10 knots it is. Okay. Let's come.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Neuer Kurs 161. Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
Let's come to 162.
163. Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
Increase speed for the turn. And we will take the time to prepare our firing solution. Range, about 600. AOB will be 90 degrees, right? We will fire on a 90 degree intercept here. Speed, about 10 degrees. 10 knots. Select torpedo number 10. We have waves of, I think it was 14 meters per second. Yeah, 14 meters per second. That means we have to set the torpedo to a minimum of 5.6 meters. That should be fine, since I suspect that this ship has a draft that is higher. Let's actually set it like this. And we are going with an impact pistol, because that's basically all that we have, since those torpedoes were loaded on board. We are ready, we just have to complete the turn. Then we'll be able to fire on him at this bearing. And we'll just hope that our torpedo actually hits.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
Slow down the boat. Raise the periscope. Let's hope that he has not passed this line yet. Open the torpedo tube. We are almost there. We are almost there. Once again, let me have a look. How long is a train car? He has train cars loaded in the back, that's interesting. Okay, I give this ship just about 100 meters, to be honest. Do I reduce the speed by 1 knot? Difficult. Very difficult decision. I could. I won't have time for a complete speed reading here. No. Do I reduce the speed? What difference does it make in degrees? Ooh, that's substantial actually. Increase speed. Let's put it at 9.5 knots. Torpedo is prepared. We are ready to fire. And I fire the torpedo straight at his middle. And then we'll just hope that our calculations were correct. Closing the distance. Come on. Distance is actually quite far. But okay. Here goes nothing. I don't have time to do anything else right now. Fire! And this time we will actually, first of all, lower the periscope, but then we will observe this torpedo going towards the target. Look at the fish. There it goes. Electric torpedo, so it doesn't produce a bubble trail. And I think I've overestimated the speed. I actually do think that. I should have gone with 8 knots. Yeah. I overestimated the speed by a lot, actually. So, that will be a miss, I believe. Yes, absolutely. Missed him. 8 knots would have been correct. But, looking at the torpedo and at his draft, we would have had to be very lucky for the torpedo to hit. The waves are really lifting him up. Ah, well. So that's unfortunate. But that is also part of the game. Sometimes you simply miss. Yeah, look at this. Only now is he passing through the crosshairs. Sometimes you simply miss your target. And that's that. Maybe he even spotted my periscope and is slowing down. That's also a possibility. But it is a Polish ship. Probably the last Polish ship to pass through this area. Incredible. But yeah, we have nothing else to shoot at him. We don't have a deck gun. We have our anti-aircraft gun, but it's only a 2 centimeter anti-aircraft machine gun, so this thing is gonna poke very little holes, and it's not going to sink a ship. At this point, there's nothing for us to do. Dive down to 20 meters.
Neue Tiefe 1,9 Meter.
There's nothing for us to do but to set a course for Kiel and to return back to port, where we will end this patrol, which has been, well, without any ships sunk for us, really. It's a shame, but it can't be helped. It is what it is. Okay, let's actually delete these other points so that we are turning east immediately. And with that, we are ending today's engagement. Our target has actually survived due to our miscalculations. I should have gone with the Auswanderungsverfahren method of shooting. That would have worked better in this instance. But I realized too late what I was looking at. I became so used to looking at neutral ships in this area over the last days. I didn't even expect a Polish ship to be here on the 8th of October. So, let's return to port and explain to Dönitz why we haven't sunk anything in this patrol. See you in the harbor. Now that we have expended our last torpedo, BDU is ordering us back to Kiel. Despite our misfortunes, they still consider our patrol a success because of our engagement with the first Polish merchant. I think they also acknowledge the harsh conditions that we had to operate in and our torpedo failures that we really can't be blamed for. It is finally time to return home. Now that we have left Skagerrak, the storms have disappeared completely. We have calm seas all the way to Kiel. I feel like the weather is mocking us. Hi there! So, before we end this patrol in Kiel Harbor, which we are just now entering, and before we go to the outro, I wanted to say a few words. We have just passed the Labor Naval Memorial here. Oh, by the way, if you are ever in Kiel, do visit this memorial, because next to the memorial is a Type 7 submarine that can be visited. It is the last remaining intact Type 7 submarine in the world. So I think that's worth a visit. I have not yet been there myself, but I plan to do it at some point. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, we are now entering the port, about to finish this patrol that was not really that successful, unfortunately. But that is just the reality of war, that is how it was historically. Sometimes you came home with a bunch of sunk ships under your belt, and sometimes you came home with nothing. So, it will happen, it does happen. And this time it happened to us. It doesn't matter though. Next time we will be more successful. And I hope that next time we will be sent maybe to the British coastal waters again, where we might be able to engage some British convoys. That would be quite amazing. Yes, the area is dangerous. Airplanes, enemy destroyers, you name it. But it will be quite exciting. Our patrol up in the Skagerrak was very difficult. We had lots of bad weather. Heavy fog, storms, high waves, we had it all. And you saw how it impacted our torpedoes and our targeting. That really wasn't great. So I hope that next patrol will be much better. Ja.
Schiff gesichtet. Lage 1-4. Große Entfernung.
Oh, look at that. An attack boat. Sailing out of the harbor. Nice. If we are being sent up to the British Isles, I will be able to show you guys so many awesome things, so many techniques to engage the enemy. Auswanderungsverfahren, Ausdampfverfahren and others. Especially when we go up against convoys, that will be awesome. So I hope you stick around for the next episode next week. But I gotta say, recording these episodes is taking a huge amount of time. I'm not even talking about the editing and the rendering and uploading. The editing takes a lot of time too. But just recording the video that you have seen today took me about, well, 4 to 5 hours real time. Just because I was sailing around so much up here in the Skagerrak without encountering anything or only encountering neutral ships that I checked out, intercepted and then had to let go again. So a lot of time was put into this video. But yeah, still nothing sunk. It's what it is, it happens. Oh, what's he doing? That's weird. Don't run aground, please. We will now enter the harbor. We'll enter patrol. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please leave some comments down there. If you have any suggestions on how I can improve these videos or something that I should maybe show, I always read those comments and I'm really happy about every single one of them. And I try to reply to all of them, or to acknowledge them at least at some point. So, thank you very much. Have some great days, and let's go to the outro. We return to Kiel after 21 days at sea, with not a single sunk ship to show for it. For the first Polish ship that was sunk by the bomber, we will at best get half credit. No victory pennants to fly off our periscope this time. But still, we are receiving a grand welcome. The Navy band never misses an opportunity to play up, and we are welcomed by friends and family on the pier. The men have mixed feelings. There will be no grand celebration, like after our last patrol, but we are all home, alive and well. I consider that to be a victory that some U-boats won't be able to share with us anymore. Due to our overwhelming success in our first war patrol, we are still the U-boat with the most tonnage sunk in the Kriegsmarine. A status that I'm sure we will lose while we are in port and other boats are at sea, sinking enemy ships. The crew expects me to talk to the High Command. First they want a prolonged shore leave, and then they would prefer to be sent against the English, instead of playing Coast Guard in the Skagerrak again. I will see what I can do. Dönitz' chauffeur is already waiting on the pier to drive me to the headquarters. My torpedo officer will accompany me. I'm sure Dönitz wants to hear more about those mysterious torpedo failures.